Today, let's make some traditional Southern cornbread. Jump on in and make it with me. Hi, I'm Mary Katherine, and welcome to my table. I'm so glad you're with me today. We're going to make this Southern cornbread, but I'm going to be honest and tell you that this is not the recipe I use most of the time. I have kind of tweaked my cornbread recipe, and I have another one that I use similar to this, but it's got some variations to it, and we love that recipe. But I feel like you need to know how to make this traditional recipe because you may prefer it. This one goes really well when you've made a big pot of soup that has a lot of broth in it, or you've cooked a big batch of beans. It just goes so well with those things to soak up all that broth. And I am not too proud to float a piece of cornbread in the bowl with the soup or the beans. And then you just get a little bite of cornbread and a little bite of soup all together. It's so yummy. So you need to know how to make this recipe. It also can be used for your dressing if you're going to make a homemade dressing for Thanksgiving or Christmas. It is perfect for that. So I want you to know how to make this traditional Southern cornbread. This is part of our Thanksgiving meal series, and we're so excited to bring it to you. All of the videos will be posted here on YouTube, but we're also going to have links to them on marycatherinestable.com. Even if you've already signed up for our newsletter, go ahead and sign up for the Thanksgiving meal guide, and we'll be sure to bring it to you. You'll get it directly into your email. It'll have all of the recipes there, and it'll even have a customizable grocery list so that you can pick and choose which dishes you'd like to make. You can make them all, or you can just choose certain ones that you like. It'll customize it to your taste. So sign up for that there at marycatherinestable.com. The link will be in the description. Okay, let's get back to the video. The very first thing we want to do when we're making cornbread is to grease our skillet. And I'm going to use bacon grease for this. I have my trusty mug that I reserve my bacon grease in after I've cooked some. And we use it for things like this. It is so yummy and it makes a delicious crust on our cornbread. So you want to get a pretty generous helping just on a paper towel and spread it all around the pan, the bottom and the sides on the inside of the pan. And that is going to give you that really good brown crust. And once we have greased our skillet, we're going to put it in a hot oven at 350 degrees. And you want to let it sit in there for at least 7 to 8 minutes. That's going to melt that bacon grease and it's going to get our skillet really hot. And that helps to form that crust too. While our skillet is heating up in the oven, let's mix up our cornbread. And what we need for this are just some simple ingredients. We're going to start with 2 cups of this buttermilk cornmeal mix. And this is my favorite kind, the Martha White. But if you can't find it, you can use another one. It'll be fine. But we're going to get 2 cups of this and put it in our bowl. And you don't necessarily have to do the dip level pour method with this. You want to be fairly exact, but cornbread is a little bit forgiving. So even though baking is a science, this recipe is going to be okay. Okay, there's our 2 cups. This has our rising agents in it, so we don't have to add the baking soda, the baking powder, things like that. It also has salt in it. I'm going to add just a touch extra, maybe 1/4 of a teaspoon. We don't need much. And I'm just going to measure that in my hand. See, it's just a little bit. We're going to add 1 1/3 cups of buttermilk. Now, because we're using the buttermilk cornmeal mix, you could simply use regular milk if you wanted to. That would work fine, but I have buttermilk and I'm just going to go ahead and use it. So there's 1. You kind of eyeball where 1/3 comes, about there, 1/3. And now we need 1/4 of a cup of vegetable oil. If you had lard or if you had shortening and you wanted to use that instead, you could absolutely do that. I'm going to make it easy and just measure out 1/4 of a cup of oil. Perfect. And then the last ingredient we need is just 1 egg. And then let's mix it up. And I'm just going to use my scraper here to mix it up, my spatula. And that way we can use it to scrape it all out of the bowl. into our hot skillet as well. And you see how quickly it comes together. All right, there we go. Now, depending on how long it takes you to mix up your cornbread, your skillet may or may not be hot enough. You probably want to let it go at least somewhere 7 to 8 minutes. And so ours has been in about that long now. So I'm going to grab it and we are going to put our cornbread in the skillet. You're going to hear some sizzle. And you can see our bacon grease is all kind of melted at this point. And this is going to give us a really good crust on this cornbread, and that's part of what you want in a good cornbread. I don't know if that sizzle's coming through on the camera, on the audio for you in the video or not, but it is sizzling. Let's stick it back in the oven at 350. It needs to bake for about 20 minutes until it gets good golden brown on top. Our cornbread's done. It's actually gone a little bit longer. You want to do 20 to 25 minutes. This was closer to 25. I had it for 24 minutes plus the talking time. Okay, and as you can see, it's starting to get a little bit brown on top. This recipe doesn't get super brown up here. Let's let it cool for just a minute. And then what we're going to do is we're going to flip it out onto a pan upside down, and you'll see that pretty brown crust. Let's turn our cornbread out. All right, and this is that pretty crusty golden edge that we were talking about. This crust on the bottom, that's what you want, especially in your traditional cornbread like this. This is Southern cornbread. There's no sugar in it at all. If you're a Yankee, my mom is a Yankee, so I love Yankees. But if you're a Yankee, sometimes you want to put sugar in that cornbread. But traditional Southern cornbread does not have any sugar in it at all. It's more of a savory treat, not a sweet treat. And so anyway, this is the recipe, and this is the perfect brown crust that you want. I want you to notice something. You know how we use that bacon grease, which helped create that wonderful crust, but it also does something else. Come look at my skillet. All I did was turn this out onto the plate, and that is how clean your skillet comes out. There is very little residue on this, and that is great because with your cast iron, you really don't want to wash it a lot. You can wash them, but if you use it for something like this and it comes out that clean, all you need to do is just wipe it down with a paper towel, and it is good to go for the next time that you want to use your skillet. It's perfect. Let's slice a piece of cornbread. One thing about this cornbread, just this classic cornbread, it holds together really well. So I'm not even going to use a fork. I'm going to pick it up and I'm just going to do the taste test that way. Okay, that tastes very good. It is definitely a drier consistency than my cornbread. So be sure to catch my video on that one as well, because you may like that one better. But this one does work really well because it holds together well and because of that drier consistency. When you put it in that bowl of soup or you put it in that bowl of beans, it just soaks in all those juices. So it does pair really well with those things. But that's just a classic Southern cornbread. So now you know how to make it. Well, that's it for Mary Catherine's Table today. I'm so glad that you were with me. We have a lot of subscribers that love to give suggestions. And so if you have a favorite cornbread recipe, feel free to share it with all of us. Leave us a comment. If you watch this video, and then if you also watch the one that we'll post soon about my cornbread that I typically make, Let me know which one you like better if you try them both. I would love to hear that too. So, anyway, that's a wrap for Mary Catherine's Table. Thanks again for joining us. And remember to go out today and find someone who needs a little bit of kindness and give them some of yours.